I'll just do intro and then we'll go from there. Hey, how you all going? It's Jai, that Aussie Metal Guy here with Crannk.com and with that metalstation.com out of the US. And today I'm getting to have a chat with CM and Maggie from Illusions of Grandeur, whose latest single, The Wolf, is a ripping single. I've got to have a listen to that. And it was a really cool band to come across. So thank you for bringing out that great music. I was glad to come across it. Maggie sent it over from Kill Sound Productions and I was like, hell yeah, really keen. Let's have a chat with the band. Let's hook it up. So thanks for making some time to have a chat with me.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. We really appreciate it.
And also this Friday, May 21st, our newer single, The Prophet,
comes out.
is coming out. It's
awesome.
So you can right now too. So and
Awesome.
Prophet.
We'll have a chat about that one as well. I did have a listen to that track too. That's a killer track. So first off, for the uninitiated, can you tell me a little bit about the history of Illusions of Grandeur?
Sure. We started in 2015. CM and I had been in bands together before, but we wanted to try to find something that fit my voice a little bit better and what I can do. So we were touring a little bit in another band, and we both kind of looked at each other and like, let's get creative together. Let's try to do something that fits us a little bit more. So 2015 we started. We've kind of been going strong ever since. We've been overseas two or three times.
Three times.
Yeah.
We were playing in a rock band, and we decided we wanted to do something a little bit more. And so we kind of coined the term theatrical metal, although it's been out there anyway, but kind of took the best parts of like In This Moment and Alice Cooper and Kiss and King Diamond and put together a live performance and a concept. It's a 3-album concept called the Siren Saga. And we're taking some mythology and Norse and things in that
Norse and Greek mythology and then personal life experiences, kind of doing some double entendres so that you have this great storyline, but also if you heard a song on its own, you could enjoy it as well, just like that, if you had no idea that there was even a storyline behind it.
So yeah, we started doing that in 2015, and by 2018 we were in Europe touring and finding an audience, and it's been great ever since, you know. And as I was telling you just before we started, we're actually out here in Santa Monica right now, kind of getting prepped for the new album, The Siren, which will be coming out later this summer. So it's we're moving and grooving and touring, and just COVID's not stopping us.
Yeah, definitely not.
So that'll sum up what we are and who we are and what we're doing.
Well, it's good to see with bands. Some bands have kind of gone a little bit quiet with COVID, and other bands have made the best of that time and to lay down music and to just keep working and try and get their music out there, because it's given people time while they're sitting at home during COVID to discover new bands. And arts was the one thing that kind of got me through it all. And I know it got a lot of other people through it, listening to new music, buying music, and just sitting at home and discovering the joy of listening to whole albums as well. Because it's like you said, you can listen to these songs like one on their own, but to get the whole album and listen to the whole story behind the album, and when bands and artists are making whole albums and putting effort into that album and the story behind the album, it really does make kind of people like me really happy as well, that they're not just bringing out singles as well.
We lived in the studio. COVID was 3-4 months. We just recorded every night, like all night, working on this new album. We had some of the songs prior, but as soon as COVID hit and we got locked down, we kind of we used that time to be creative. And now that it's kind of lifted, we're coming up with we have a lot of new songs done and music videos and a new show. And so we're raring to get out, and we're going to be doing some shows coming up soon. And then early 2022 back over to Europe and the rest of the world, we hope.
Yeah, how's Europe? Europe's pretty good, eh? Europe really love their metal. Like, I know countries like Australia and America are probably the same, but the support that Europe gets for the scene is unreal.
Yeah, especially the type of band we are, like Nightwish sort of, or like, you know, Arch Enemy sort of with the show, you know, they really are receptive to the show. We got there and people knew the lyrics. I was so blown. It was amazing. Back to us, I was not expecting that at all, and just like open arms, like come on in, you know. Like, so it was really a neat experience.
It was great because we've been in bands and toured in America for years, and you start out, you know, as every band does, playing to a few people, building. It takes time, and I respect that. And some reason when we went to Europe, when we started out in England and then Germany and then the Ukraine, we were playing to packed houses, and we consider that extremely lucky. Word of mouth, like a fluke, but we'll take it.
Yeah,
it
They
It was
really
great.
appreciate the scene over there, eh? It is. I've heard from Aussie bands that have gone over there as well, and they've had the same experience here in Australia. I think hopefully it changes with COVID, that everyone gets along to these local shows and supports bands that are coming out of their area as well. But over in Europe, they just seem to have this hunger for it as well, pre-COVID, as to get along to shows, even to bands they haven't heard a great deal. If there's a metal show in their area, they go along to it regardless.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and they're totally receptive. Like, it's funny because I was like, look, we're already famous.
They just love good music over there. It's good.
It was really neat because, you know, I've signed autographs and stuff before, but I've never had a little swirl of children out in front of me asking for autographs and stuff. The kids are great.
It was fun. It was really
it was a really experience.
And I really
super humbled by it, honestly.
I attribute that to we put a lot of songs out to internet radio and to radio in advance. And then I think just visually, because of what we look like with the armor and the makeup and everything, it instantly grabs some people's eyes that would lean to that. Again, like being the Kiss or Alice Cooper, and they instantly go, well, what does that sound like? Well, I want to go see what that is.
Yeah.
So I think it brought a little bit of interest right away and brought people to the shows. And it was just so much fun. And she, of course, being the Siren and the lead singer, was, mobbed. And it was fun.
It's good.
Yeah. No.
Can we talk about the latest album? Can you tell me, just tell me whatever details you're able to release at the moment. Can you tell me a little bit about the songwriting process maybe for this album to begin with?
Sure. So this is the second album, The Siren. The first one was The Songs of the Siren. So this is kind of like a darker transition for the Siren. She's kind of built her little army of men, which, the band. And now we're going into the underworld and we're going to fight Hades. So this is sort of like owning yourself, owning the dark side of yourself, and circumventing things. And Sam, do you want to? Yeah. Sorry, take that. Sorry, I apologize. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so the songwriting process was really interesting because we wrote the Songs of the Siren from like 2015 up through 2017, and it came out. We started touring on it, and it was really interesting because we had written a lot of the songs for the Siren for the second album, and we have some songs for the third album, The Siren Rises, as well, kind of sketched. So when you go out on tour, you learn a lot of what works and what doesn't work. So we kind of saw where we needed to improve and what we needed to do. And so when we came back from the first big tour in July of 2019, August of 2019, we kind of hunkered down and started really looking at songwriting, structure, and lyric and live. And we started demoing and preparing, and we were still doing tour dates up to, I guess, March of 2020. And then we had kind of planned to get into the studio and finish it. And then, of course, COVID hits. So we've already covered that. So the songwriting process it's been stretched about 2 years now. And we've really just looked at our audience and looked at the songs that we're doing. And it's been a really interesting experiment. And we think people are going to be really proud of it. I know we are.
It's got a lot more driving riffs, I think. It's a little more.
It's got a lot more, as she said,
energy.
A lot more light and dark. On the first album, The Songs of the Siren, it's kind of like, hi, this is the band. This is what we do. And then the Siren, it kind of takes you into, this is what we do, and this is what we can do. So, and then it gets really heavy. So, it's been a real roller coaster process. Just like the first album, it takes you through a lot of genres, but we really spent a lot more time on production because we had the time to do it, and a lot more time on songwriting. So we think that people are going to be really proud of it. And then the other process is singles and videos. On our first album, we did a couple videos to promote it, but we're a live band. We're road dogs. And this is the first time we've ever done 4 videos in a row, 4 singles in a row. And we're going to continue to do that. So at the end of this tour cycle, you'll be able to take all the videos from the album and put them together and kind of link them together into a story, maybe a small movie. We'll see.
It's going to be pretty cool, eh? It kind of leaves it open, doesn't it? It gives you a little more time with that COVID to kind of think of your plan or attack, and spend that time with recording and production as well. Where did you just record? Tell us a little bit about that process. It must have been a bit easier this time around than the first album. I always hear from bands and their first debut album, they're like, man, that was fucking terrible. I hated doing that. And then the second time around, they're like, nah, we're a little bit more on the ball now. We know what we're doing. We're ready for it.
So we're fortunate because we moved out to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and built a studio. So we have a studio at our farmhouse. So it's so convenient because if we have an idea, we go down and record.
Cool.
You know, or we stop for some reason, we can stop, and you know, and then there's no dollars going out for time.
We invested in ourselves.
Yes.
And we built a studio in the rehearsal.
Yeah, he keeps covering the camera.
And we built a studio in our little, like, I call it our fortress of solitude almost. We built in the lower section of this farmhouse where we rehearse, and it's also we have a green in one of the outbuildings on this farm. We built a green screen room, so we film videos there. So it's kind of like our little production compound, and the band rehearses there. We prepare the stage shows there. Our lighting crew works there, and the roadies and everyone. It's all kind of a commune in a sense. So the recording process this time was a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Because we learned from the first one, and it also was a little more experimental because we had the time to do that. So, and then of course with Pro Tools and virtual instruments and things of that nature, we took some time to kind of play into that and experiment with sounds, and use the studio as an instrument, not just go in and record the songs. So yeah, it's been an experience, and I can't wait as we're ending. We're actually still in the final process of putting the album, assembling it and mastering it. But I'm looking at the songs for the next album, and I'm like, I can't wait to get into that one. You know, it's like, wow, we're going to be going in a different direction. So again, COVID, blessing, curse, horrible thing, but creative wise, it kind of forced us to lock down and really find out what we do.
Yeah, knuckle down into the work. It's good to see. I've noticed a lot of bands kind of doing that as well. And I've spoken to guys like you, bands like you, and they've gone, yeah, we've got this album ready to go, but we've already got the next one pretty well ready to just smash out as soon as we do it. But it's kind of waiting for that right time to drop an album too, because you want to be able to tour off the back of it. Like our metal scene isn't that big that we can, you know, I wish it was up there with all those crappy fucking pop bands, the radio shit plays on half of those FM radio stations, all that hip hop crap. But you know, for us, it's touring is a big part of meeting fans, getting merch as well, because you come in, you see a show, you buy some merch, you buy a shirt, they walk away, they tell 20 of their mates, and you don't have that live music or that touring cycle. It makes it really hard to go, okay, let's drop an album. It takes a lot of courage for a band to go, okay, let's drop this album. We're not going to be able to probably tour on it for a year and a half. I know guys that dropped an album right at the start of COVID, and they weren't able to tour at all on an album, and they're only just starting to tour now here in Australia on that album.
It's horrible because that's what we do. Yeah. And when people, like, you can listen to the album and you can follow the story and imagine it kind of in your mind's eye, but when you come see us live and you watch her act it out, and because it is like a play, it really sums it together. So we try and give it 3 different experiences. It's one where you can kind of listen to it, and 2, you can kind of read about it on the album, and then the third one is coming to see the band live and experience what we do. And really, our first 3 to 4 years of being a band, that's all we did. We just went on the road, and it was every time someone would be like, "Hey, can we book the band here?" It'd be like, "Let's go." That was our attitude, like, you know, doom trooping. We just went out there and did it. So yeah, we're looking forward to just getting back out and being out there and really connecting again. And I think they're looking forward to, you know, being connected with.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a surge of people coming out to shows just because everybody's been locked up, you know, for so long. I'm hoping anyway. I'm really hoping that.
I think you're right.
You know,
yeah, you are. In Australia, we've opened up and we've had shows where we've been having shows now for quite a few months, and they have been selling out. They've been going like great guns. Even the small local shows, people are getting along and I live in Adelaide, not far from Adelaide, South Australia, and it's one of those cities in the middle that kind of get looked over a lot, and the shows don't sell out, and they're a bit hit and miss sometimes, but their show's been selling out even, so it's been really good. There was one that was announced, Froth and Fury had some of Australia's best metal bands sold out in 24 hours, so I'm hoping it's the same everywhere in the world, that everyone gets along, has this hunger and drive to really see the scene and not sit back and go, oh, okay, I'll just, miss this show or whatever. Get along to those shows. Don't miss these shows when they're around in your area.
You can't wait to get to Australia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you would love it down here. It'd be great. Have you heard anything about touring over there in the US? I know it's a bit fucking hit and miss, and I've spoken to other countries, but yeah.
We're starting in October. We have a few shows this summer, but really it's October. We're going to be starting out into America and touring. Things are really opening up, and it's like September.
Yeah.
September. Don't ask me.
I think September.
And September is when we really hit it.
Yeah, we go out on the road in September of 2021 through the South and up to Texas and around, and then we're still waiting. We're getting dates in, but really it's 2022. Hopefully, returning to Europe and seeing where it takes us to the rest of the world. So.
That's what I think with touring too. 2022, like I know a couple of internationals are booked here for 2021, but I can't really see too many wanting to go into quarantine for 2 weeks before when they get here, and then things like that. So I'm thinking 2022, when everyone gets kind of fully vaccinated. Our country's kind of getting a bit slow on that. We were good before, but now the vaccination process is a little slow. But yeah.
Yeah, I think 2022 is when we're going to open back up. But we're actually looking forward to the end of 2021. Because it's going to giving us a real opportunity to tour in America, where we've kind of been limited in America for what we do, just the size of the show and whatnot. It's been easier in Europe. So now a lot of promoters opened up for us, and they've really reached out to us. So we were really surprised. And starting in September, where like I said, we're heading down, in the southern states. Really, they're booking festivals, and we're going to be on them. So that's where we're heading.
It's interesting. I feel like we often have like a genre conflict. Nobody knows where to put us. And a few times we've heard recently creating our own genre of metal, and dude, that's awesome. But we've had shows where we're playing with bands that are like heavy screamers, and then there's us, and it's like and then the opposite, where maybe it's like a little more rock and roll, and then it's us. So oftentimes we've had promoters like, we want to put you guys.
I love all different genres of heavy metal. It kind of gets my goat a bit. Some people that will only go, oh, and listen to that. I don't think heavy metal's big enough to kind of all start fighting off on each other with genres as well. I like going to shows where you have all sorts of heavy metal bands. You know what I mean? There's nothing better when you can go to a show and you're seeing totally different types of fucking heavy metal bands. It's, and when you go to a show and it's just one style, it's a bit boring.
It'd be so boring if we all did the same thing.
Back in the day, you could go see Priest doing what they do, Metallica, and then Iron Maiden, and Sabotage, and they'd all be on bills together. The big US festivals and the Rock and Rios, and it's about an attitude more than a sound.
Absolutely.
And that brotherhood of metal and hard rock, and that's what we want to do and promote. Just good songwriting, good attitude, good music, heavy, and that's more what it should be about. Not really about a genre. Because I'll gladly play with a band like Meshuggah because they impress the hell out of me. Their fans may not be what we're in, what we do, but it's just about music.
Yeah,
it's a language.
Yeah, the genre thing, I do want to touch on it, and I don't do it with any band. I won't do it with this one. What annoys me is female fronted. I hate that fucking term. It does my head in.
It's not a genre.
It's not a genre.
It's annoying. We hear a lot too. Oh, female fronted. I'm like, what does that have to do with anything?
It does my goat in. I've got 3 daughters, and if they were in a metal band, it would do my bloody head in if that's what they had to fucking put up with. I will not use it. I don't use it in any of my stories. It's just
no. It's not a genre. Again, it's you would mix them in there and you'd go see Durapatch, or right now you have the Butcher Babies out there, and the classics, Joan Jett. 4, they're
too.
back out there.
Yeah.
It's, you really want to look at them and
Venom
go,
Prison, Spirit
Yeah.
Box. It's just there's so many different types of metal. Infected Rain. It's just you can't just
Oh,
put it. It's
And is the woman Ginger, amazing.
Tatiana.
Oh.
And that's the thing. You really want to say that right to her face? She'll kick your ass.
No,
I know.
yeah, no, be afraid to say that to her.
We toured in Ukraine. We've seen their audience.
Oh yeah.
They're
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
They are, aren't they? Can you tell me a little bit about the latest single, The Wolf? Did you just want to talk a little bit about that one as well?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Sure. The Wolf is, we are coming out of actually we're in the Black Forest, on the other
Beginning of
side
the album, yeah.
of the Archeron and the Styx and the underworld. So we're right in the beginning of the album. We just crossed over, and now we're in this Black Forest where we're kind of like, we've sort of crossed over to the other side. So it's like an illusion almost, like the forest tricks
We're
you.
half
You know,
dead.
we're half dead, but we're not. So there's, the forest is a big mind game basically.
And there's a wolf.
And there's a
guarding.
wolf directly from mythology. There's a wolf in the dark forest. So basically we have to find and defeat this wolf, and she messes with us, and the siren's trying to rile our men and remind them that we're pretty badass. We got
'Cause we've
this.
had our ass kicked.
Yeah. So
It's an interesting song for us musically as well, because it's the first time we've ever used kind of heavy synth in a song. So if you listen to our previous stuff and our newer stuff, the wolf kind of stands out by itself. It's a little heavier, a little like we're driving double bass, but it's got a lot of dark and heavy distorted synthesizer in it. So we kind of changed it up. And that really comes from our drummer, Ted Dominski.
oh man.
He said, well, why don't we do this and try something completely, flipped it on
He
its
threw
head.
us for a loop, and it was like, oh my god, it's so good.
Because the song was finished and we were
Yeah,
like
it
really
was.
proud.
He
He's
just-
like, yeah, but what if we did this? And he walked up to the mixing board and he turned the guitars off
He just made it so much
in the
better.
verse. We went, wow.
Heard it like
So
that.
It's an interesting song story wise, and it's an interesting song sound wise, because it's something completely new for Illusions. And people are loving it. And that's the thing. We put it out there and we know we love it. And it's great to get a positive response, but the response to this one has just been crazy. So we're grateful for it. We took a risk and we think it's worth it.
Yeah, I thank everybody for the 21,000 views on that. Truly appreciate it.
Yeah, I noticed it got a lot of hits and a lot of views on that. And that being said, where's the best place people can get along and support Illusions of Grandeur? I believe you have a website, is it?
We do it. Website is your hub. It leads to everything. If you go to www.iogmusic.com, you will be linked to everything.
Cool.
Our email, I'm sorry, not our email, but
There's email
is
too.
our email there?
There's
Okay,
everything.
So Facebook, Twitter, yeah, any
Buy
social
shirts.
media that we're on, the merch page is there as well.
Yep.
So that's
Proud.
all things
Um,
Illusions of Grandeur.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah,
up
you-
there. You do need to
yeah,
get
you-
it on Bandcamp though, for Bandcamp nerds
We
like
will.
me. They're actually Bandcamp nerds like me. I said sorry. I said
Don't let
something to it.
Please.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ukraine, they just got Spotify because we have a ton of fans in the Ukraine. And they're like, we can't get the music. You got to go Bandcamp. And then finally, one of the guys that
Yeah,
that helps us do some booking out there, he's like, we got Spotify. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
We'll dedicate
Yeah.
ourselves before the release of the Siren album, just for you. You get a band.
Awesome. That's cool
We'll
because
get-
some nerds like me buy a lot of stuff through there these days. Like I'm not a big Spotify, and I know I keep saying that Spotify are going to run me over one day, but I'm like, if you listen to Spotify and you sit back and go, I support the band, do you really support the band? Do you?
Is a more
Yeah.
indie and direct
Yes.
outlet.
Yes.
And it's just been one of those things with everything. There's so much out there and so many places to get the music, and that's one of the better ones. So yeah, we will get on that.
We're on YouTube as well.
Yeah, but you can't buy it.
But yeah, you can't buy it on YouTube, I guess. Yeah. So
Yeah, because it's all about, because they do those Bandcamp Fridays, and I know it's all about buying the albums, and I just had to throw it in there. I did say it to a band from the US last week who I interviewed as well, and then they chucked it on Bandcamp. It's like, it's just for people like me. I feel good when I'm buying albums, and I can't always get to the physical copies and order them. So when I buy albums off Bandcamp, I can use it for the show and everything as well. And I know that
We'll get it on there. We'll make
Yeah.
a commitment.
Legend. Cool. This has been an absolute pleasure to chat with Illusions of Grandeur. I'm looking forward to chatting some more with you. When's the album? Can you say when the album's roughly due or not yet? Or we just have a chat later on when the album drops, which would be cool as well.
as well.
I think it'll be September 2021. It will be the full final release of the entire saga, all 16 songs, or the entire Siren album.
The Siren album.
The Siren album, the second in the Siren Saga. I can pretty much say it'll be August for pre-release and September for full release. So, and you'll start to see some more stuff, and keep your eye out. The brand new single is this Friday, May 21st, The Prophet. And then the video for that will be in June. We're actually doing some filming, and that'll be in June. So that'll be leading us to the album.
Cool. While I've got you, I want to talk about The Prophet. Tell us a little bit about that track, man. I want to find out more about that. That's a cool track.
Badass, man. It is driving like balls to the wall the whole time. And it's another trick in the Black Forest as far as the storyline goes. They run into this prophet and they have to decide whether the prophet's leading them astray or if the prophet's helping
It's
them.
kind of like playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes, absolutely. I hope to one day have a Dungeon and Dragon campaign. I almost said platform. Excuse me.
And The Prophet is like, it's our first full band foray into kind of heavy thrash.
It's a thrash song
kind of
for
music.
sure.
Coming kind of from my old days back in when I was in a thrash metal band called Bass Crime. It harkens back to that, and so we think people are gonna dig it. Again, we're throwing another curveball.
Yeah,
doing something a little bit completely different than we normally do.
I don't normally sing like that,
but in IOG fashion.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's us, just a little bit different.
That's it. Awesome, guys. Thank you very much, Maggie, CM. This has been an absolute pleasure. I want to get you back when the album drops. Any last words, shout outs, or thank yous, or anything I've forgotten you want to add in?
I just want to thank all the fans, honestly, and you, every radio station that's ever had us on and helped us. We truly appreciate each and every one of you. Honestly, we can't do this without you guys. We can be on as many radio stations as we want, but if we don't have the fans behind it and people like you that want to buy the albums and things like that, we couldn't do this. So we are forever grateful.
Yeah, very grateful. We really appreciate your time. And
absolutely, yes.
Everybody tune in, support the bands that are being played, and follow and. Get out there, because that's what it's about, supporting not only just one another, but worldwide.
Absolutely.
So we appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you very much, and enjoy that beach. That looks bloody lovely.
It is. We'll give you a little.
It's gorgeous out here.
Little preview of
couldn't really be better.
It's winter here. It's going winter here now. The sun's coming up in the US. It gets cold here. Cheers, guys. You have a lovely day.
Thank you. Take care.
Yeah.